You're watching FemChef FGC. Like and subscribe to my favorite gladiator on the Citadel.
Hello YouTube, it's me FemChef, and we are long overdue for a current, up-to-date starter guide on the only combos you need to know to get modern Marisa all the way from rookie to master. And when I say that from personal experience. Street Fighter 6 is my first fighting game. I lost all 10 of my placement matches in ranked. I placed into rookie, and since buying the game and placing into rookie, last phase of ranked, I topped out at Ultimate Master 1800 MR on modern Marisa. I have over 1,500 hours on my home console. I'm at locals constantly. I've been to 4 majors. I know what I'm talking about. And I'm going to give you the only combos you need to know and some simpler variations if you're initially overwhelmed by using some of the classic inputs to get your Marisa all the way to master rank and beyond. And this is going to be 10 different categories of combos. A bread and butter, a whiff punish or shimmy combo, a punish if you block drive reversal, a punish if you block a wake up ODDP, a simple combo off drive rush, a simple combo if you jump in on them, a combo if you answer their DI with your own DI, a combo if your drive impact bounces them off the wall, a combo if you stun them at the wall when they were in burnout to do as much damage as possible while they're stunned, and a full screen cash out combo to do as much damage as possible and spend all of your resources to kill them and end the game. So we're going to start with the B&B. Your bread and butter starter is going to be your medium punch target combo, which is auto plus medium on modern Marisa. You hit medium twice to get the full target combo. You won't get it if it's not on hit. But on hit, you do medium, medium, and then if you don't have any meter to spend, you probably just want to end with medium Dima to avoid spending an excessive amount of drive meter. You can do that with quarter circle back medium, or you can just do back special and then forward special to get the ender like this. Not bad, it's almost 25% damage without spending any meter. If you do have meter to spend, then you're gonna wanna do the OD version of that special move, which means either holding auto when you do your back special or doing the manual input and hitting 2 normal buttons together. I'm just gonna demonstrate it with holding auto. And there are a couple of different ways you can extend from here. I'm gonna simplify it to 2 different enders. If you are mid-screen and you wanna be able to stay close to them and continue your pressure afterwards, then ending with a charged heavy punch, just holding stand heavy, leaves them quite close to you afterwards and allows you to follow up by dashing at them, jumping at them, drive rushing at them if you want to spend meter, but there's a lot of ways to continue your pressure without having to spend meter to chase them. If, however, you want to carry them as far to the corner as possible, then you may instead want to end with a drive rush into back heavy, and then a Superman punch. You can do a medium Superman punch by hitting down plus the special input on modern. This will not give you the safe jump that you get if you do the heavy version of the Superman punch or phalanx, whatever you want to call it. But that requires you to do the manual input. And speaking as someone that has some input challenges with my dyspraxia, I often just want to go for the simpler input. So if you just do the simple input, medium, medium, OD Dima, drive rush back heavy, down special Superman punch. Doesn't give you the safe jump that you would get if you did the heavy version. If you don't know what a safe jump is, you're still learning the game, don't even worry about that. If you do know what a safe jump is, you know why that's valuable. But if you struggle with the input, you can always just do the medium version. And just starting from this end of the screen, as you can see, if you do medium, medium, OD Dima, stand heavy punch, it carries them about half screen. We're almost at the midpoint. But if we do the drive rush back heavy punch into Superman, it carries them a little bit further. So if you're trying to take them all the way to the corner, that's quite a bit more valuable, especially if you are going for the safe jump. You can also do the full target combo with that charged heavy punch ender, but that sends them really far away from you, where it's harder for you to follow up without spending more resources. So I really wouldn't do that unless it's going to take them all the way to the wall. And if it does, that actually gives you the same safe jump as you would get with the heavy Superman combo without you having to drive rush or having to do the manual input for the heavy Superman. So this is a good general combo to use mid-screen if you get the hit. There are a lot of opportunities for you to use the medium punches as an interrupt or a starter all by itself, even a whiff punish at really close range. You're gonna land this a lot. This is a really good button as you're ranking up Marisa. And you'll be able to glance because there is a lot of time for you to confirm that this hit since it's 2 hits. You can look up and go, okay, do I have a lot of drive meter left? If you don't, just end it with this. If you do, you can do this. And while you're doing that, you can think, okay, how close am I to the corner? And if you're not close to the corner, you can just end it with your charged heavy punch. If you are close to the corner, you can do 2 charged heavy punches. Or you can do the drive rush back heavy into Superman. And those are a couple variations on a simple bread and butter that's going to take you really far. Moving on to the second category, and that is a whiff punish or shimmy combo. If you get them to whiff something in your face, in particular if they thought you were going to throw them and then you don't, what is your punish for this situation? The ideal punish for this situation is a stand heavy punch starter, because that actually combos into the medium punches that we just used, like this. And then you can do the same exact combos you just learned in this situation. It's the same combo. If you are not confident in your reactions, because this takes 12 frames to come out and this only takes 7, which means it's almost twice as fast, you can just start a close range whiff punish with the medium punches and skip the heavy punch altogether, like this. It'll do a little less damage, but it also means you're just doing the same exact combo you learned as your bread and butter, and it simplifies things a little bit as you're learning, which can be helpful. For longer range whiff punishes, most of the time you are going to need to use the stand heavy punch because the medium punches won't reach far enough. This doesn't move you forward at all. Like, she's stationary. It has a disjointed hitbox, so it can still hit them from pretty far away, even if it doesn't visually look like the punch would hit them, but it doesn't move her forward. The stand heavy punch moves her forward a lot. So if you're trying to whiff punish at a longer range, use the stand heavy punch starter. Otherwise, you can just use the same exact combo that you learned as your bread and butter for these situations. All right. Now, what if they try to wake up with, or do inside your pressure, a drive reversal? What do you do if you block this? Well, your best starter there is going to be your crouch light punch, which is just crouching light. And there are 2 different things you can do after that. The ideal is that you combo it into your back heavy punch. And this is because back heavy punch combos into a manual, you can't do this with a simple input, quarter circle back heavy, which allows you to get very good extensions that don't require you to spend any meter and actually open up the same exact enders that we talked about with the bread and butter combo a moment ago, like this. However, that is a tight link. This takes 8 frames to come out, and you only have 8 frames to connect it to the punish counter crouch light punch. If you have trouble with that, or if you are someone who struggles with motion inputs, either permanently or just at your current level of learning, and you are not confident that you can do the back heavy punch into quarter circle back heavy cancel, then you can also just use your medium punches that we just talked about and do the same exact combo route again that we just talked about from the bread and butter combo, like this. It's a little weird in its own way because you do have to hit auto to get the medium punches, but you don't want to be holding auto already when you do the crouch light or you'll get the wrong button. So your mileage may vary. It depends on which you think is easier. This does require you to spend quite a bit more meter if you want to extend and you didn't do the back heavy punch, because you have to spend 2 bars on the OD version of the DEMA where you could just do heavy off of the heavy punch. But those are your 2 general ideal starters. for punishing a drive reversal. You start with crouch jab, and then you either do back heavy, quarter circle back heavy, or you do your medium punches into the bread and butter combo that we talked about in the beginning. So this isn't really as overwhelming as it might feel looking at it from a bird's eye view, because we've already done a bread and butter, a whiff punish, and a drive reversal punish. And technically, you can do all of that with the same exact combo. So it's really not as scary as it might feel going into this. Like, you're totally, you got this. You're tracking with this. You're already 3 into a 10 combo list, and they can all be the same combo if you need them to be. So don't panic. Let's move on to number 4, which is if you block an ODDP. What do you do here? Well, your ideal starter here is going to be a fully charged heavy punch. Again, because on punish counter, this can combo back into your back heavy punch, and again, your quarter circle back heavy, and get the same enders that we just talked about, like this. If you struggle with the motion input, it can also just combo into the medium punches, just like with the drive reversal punish. If you can combo into this, you can also combo into this. This is less ideal because, again, it requires you to spend 2 bars on the quarter circle back because you cannot connect a heavy quarter circle back off of a medium, but it is an option if you struggle with the input. And then the same exact ender situation. If you do want to save the meter by doing a heavy quarter circle back, but you cannot currently do a manual quarter circle reliably, you can also just use the heavy auto combo here, and that is perfectly fine as a punish while you're learning. If you don't want to do the whole heavy auto combo, you can also just stop holding auto after the first 3 hits. You release auto here, and then you just do the same enders as every other combo we've done so far, like this. And there you have a simple DP punish. Now, let's say you're on offense. If you are drive rushing at them, what is a good button to drive rush at them with, and what can you do off of it? Well, we're gonna go right back to our trusty, multi-purpose, and incredibly scary stand heavy punch. Because if you drive rush into a stand heavy punch and it hits them, it is the exact same situation as when you whiff punish with a stand heavy punch. Because punish counter and drive rush offer the same frame advantage, which means you can combo into your medium punches and you can do the same combos again if the stand heavy punch hits. Save the meter. Spend the meter. Spend the meter. Safe jump. Spend the meter, drive, rush, back heavy, Superman. And that's a good drive rush combo to start with. You can do the same exact thing with a drive rush into crouching medium. All the combo routes are exactly the same, but sometimes a drive rush into a crouching medium won't travel as far as the drive rush into the stand heavy punch because the heavy punch moves her so far forward. So just consider where you are on the screen when you are going to do a drive rush combo. All right, jump-in combos. We are halfway through this already. We are halfway through a 10 combo list. You've already learned how to do a bread and butter, a shimmy combo, a drive reversal punish, a DP punish, and a drive rush combo. Now, what if you jump on them? Most of the time that you are jumping into an attack, it's going to be a jump into auto heavy, which is jumping heavy kick. Now, if you are doing a jump in and you're not sure if it's going to hit them, you may want to go with the medium punches because you have a lot of time to see if it hit them or not. If it does hit them, same exact combos again. I don't have to tell you. You already know what you can do with that. And so on. But if he blocked it, you have a lot of time to realize that the whole thing got blocked, and you're not going to end it with a Dima that would be really punishable on block. You're probably going to end it with something else like a Gladius that, while not totally safe, is quite a bit safer. However, if you know that the jump in is going to hit them, for some reason, let's say you jumped over a fireball and you see that you're going to land on them while they are still recovering from the fireball. You can also combo the jump in into your back heavy punch, quarter circle back heavy, just like we did before, like this. If you decide to go for the back heavy instead of the mediums, and they actually did block it, just don't do the quarter circle, do a light Gladius instead, either with neutral special or with a quarter circle forward light. This puts you at a good spacing and it chips a bit of their drive meter, so it's not terrible. But you obviously don't want to do the quarter circle back heavy on block, because that leaves you very punishable. You only want to do that if it hits them. So you either jump into your medium punches and see if it hit them, or you jump into your back heavy punch and see if it hit them. So we've covered bread and butter, whiff punish, drive reversal punish, DP punish, drive rush combo, and jump in combo. What if they try to drive impact and you drive impact them back? What do you do when this happens? Well, if you struggle really, really hard with motion inputs, then you might just want to use the beginning of the heavy auto combo, just like you did with the DP punish. And then whatever of the enders we've already discussed you want to use. If you are comfortable doing a quarter circle back heavy off of a heavy punch, your ideal combo in this situation is a charged back heavy, uncharged back heavy, quarter circle back heavy as your starter. You need to start charging the first back heavy as the camera zooms out from the freeze, which takes a little bit of practice. You may need to work on it in training mode a bit. That's okay. It took me a long time to get used to, and now I could probably do this in my sleep. After the camera zooms back out, there you start charging. And then whichever of the enders you want from the ones that we've already discussed. If you start charging too late, they will flip out of the first punch and you won't get a combo. See, he just bounced out of it. There was no way to follow up there. So you do have to time it correctly, but it's just kind of right as the camera freeze stops and the camera zooms back out. Then you can start charging your heavy punch and do whatever combo route you want there. So that covers our counter DI combo. We only have 3 left. Wall splat, stun, and full screen cash out. I'm gonna start with wall splat. So if you drive impact them at the corner and they blocked it and they're not in burnout, they're gonna just get crushed up against the wall like that. So what do you do when they get crushed up against the wall? If you have no idea, you might just default to one of the combos we already talked about, like your B&B. And that doesn't even work. So you want to have something specifically for this situation. The easiest thing to do here is going to be forward heavy, your forward heavy kick. You can charge this or not. Charge does slightly more damage, but it's a little tighter to time, and I don't always remember to or bother to charge it, so don't worry about that too much. Charged or uncharged, you're doing your forward heavy kick. Then your OD Superman punch, which you can do either manually, or I do almost all of my Superman punches with a simple input. So that's down special plus auto to get your overdrive Superman punch, then a fully charged back heavy, and then a Gladius. If you haven't learned motion inputs yet, you can do the Gladius with neutral special, which will give you a light Gladius that has slightly scaled damage for being a simple input. If you are comfortable doing motion inputs, then off of the charged back heavy, you're going to want to do a quarter circle forward heavy and do a heavy Gladius. It's the same exact knockdown, but it gives you just a little bit more damage. And when you put it all together, it looks like this. And that takes a solid almost 30% of their health. Not bad at all. So, wall splat combo, really simple. Just drive impact, forward heavy, OD Superman, charge back heavy, Gladius. I'm gonna show it with a simple input here too real quick. And it leaves you really close to them to be able to follow up as well. All right, so what if you drive impact them at the wall, but they were in burnout? Well, then they're gonna enter this stun state where they're dizzied here for a minute, and eventually if you don't do anything, they fall over. You have enough time while they are dizzy to start fully charging your back heavy punch. And then it's the same exact combo routing as what we talked about with the counter drive impact combo. Uncharged, quarter circle back heavy. And from there, after you do the quarter circle back heavy, you can do another fully charged heavy punch that'll hold him at the wall. And you can then do either the Gladius Ender that we talked about before, or if you're trying to kill here, if you stun them because you have the resources to kill, you can drive rush cancel that fully charged back heavy punch by tapping the parry button. Then you do a back heavy punch again, but don't charge it. Drive rush cancel that one too. Then you charge it again, and then you do your Gladius, and you can combo that until level 3. That sounds more complicated than it actually is. It looks like this. There are obviously ways to optimize that further, but I think that's the simplest, easy to remember, easiest to get your brain around way to do a lot of damage off of a stun. Now, what if you can't do the motion input? What if you still are struggling with back heavy into the quarter circle back? Well, once again, you can just use your heavy auto combo as an alternate starter and still do everything else exactly the same without needing to do a motion input. Here's a fully modern version of that combo. And it does like almost 400 less damage, but it's not that noticeable a lot of the time if you're still learning. You absolutely want to be able to learn charged back heavy, uncharged back heavy, quarter circle back heavy in the long term, especially for the drive impact if possible. But while you're learning, this is a place to start. Because if you don't let yourself play until you can do all the optimals, you're never going to play. You're just going to sit in training mode feeling bad about yourself. And that's not a good way to learn a video game. All right, so we've done bread and butter, whiff punish, drive reversal punish, DP punish, drive rush combo, jumping combo, counter DI combo, wall splat combo, burnout, stun combo. The only thing left is if you are at full screen and you hit them, and you want to kill them by spending all of your resources, what do you do? So, 4 full screen cash outs. To make this simple, I like to end my full screen cash outs with a target combo that we haven't discussed yet. And that is, if you double tap the forward heavy on hit, you get a knee bounce that bounces them into the air. And it leaves them high enough for a light Gladius, which can be done with a simple input, to connect into super. So if you remember those juggles we were just doing at the wall, with charged back heavy punch, drive rush, into uncharged back heavy punch, drive rush, into charged back heavy punch. Well, anywhere that you could use a back heavy punch in one of those drive rush juggles, you can replace it at the end of the juggle with the knee target combo instead. And if you were going to charge the back heavy punch, then you need to charge the knee as well. But if you weren't going to charge the back heavy punch, then you don't have to charge the knee. If you're finding it hard to remember whether or not the next point of the juggle requires a charged attack or an uncharged attack, you can just remember that they always alternate. If you started your juggle with an uncharged back heavy punch, the next thing in the juggle has to be charged. If you started the combo with a charged back heavy punch, then the next thing in the combo has to be uncharged. So for this familiar starter that we get when we're blocking a DP, we have time to do 2 drive rush cancels, which means instead of doing a Superman punch at the end of our combo, drive rush cancel, charged back heavy punch, drive rush cancel, then we could do another uncharged back heavy punch, but we're going to replace it with the knee target combo instead. If you're having trouble tracking with me, just watch me do it and it should make a little bit more sense. Like Gladius level 3. So to break that down in pieces, your starter is just the same as before. You're doing your DP punish. Then you're doing your drive rush into back heavy, like you would normally do into Superman. Instead of doing Superman, you're doing drive rush cancel into charged, drive rush cancel, uncharged knee target combo, like Gladius level 3. And this does a lot of damage. It's a little bit harder than when you're at the wall, because it's easier to juggle them at the wall, but it's not that much harder. If you can do the combo we just did off the stun with the multiple heavy punch drive rush cancels in a row, then you can do this combo too. Now, let's say we spent more meter on the combo for some reason. Let's say we started with medium punches, and then if we want to extend the combo, we have to do ODDima like this. Well, we're not going to be able to do 3 drive rushes after that. If we try to do the combo we just did before, oh no, we're out of drive meter in the middle of the combo. So what do? Well, if we started with ODDima, and we don't have the meter to do 3 cancels in a row there, or 3 back heavy, then knee, then we're just going to do 1 back heavy, and since that was uncharged, then the knee has to be charged, and it looks like this. The general rule of thumb when you are doing a cash out combo, depending on how much resources you have, is to consider how many drive rush cancels you will actually be able to do. But in general, for cash outs, you want to be doing juggles between back heavy punch and a knee ender. If you did a starter and you don't have any more meter to spend, if you can do motion inputs, Heavy Gladius level 3 works mid-screen. If you can't do motion inputs, that doesn't work with Light Gladius. It'll whiff. So you can just launch the super raw and not do a Gladius at all. And that'll always work. And if you started with the medium punches instead into ODDima, same exact situation. It would have to be Heavy Gladius, but you can always just do super instead. Or if you want to spend just a little bit of drive meter, you can drive rush directly into the knee combo, uncharged, like Gladius level 3, like this. So that was more variations than most of the other categories we discussed here. But since cash outs are a lot more variable in the circumstances in which you're going to be using them, I thought it was worthwhile. The important thing is understanding when you have the resources to kill them and knowing the combo route that allows you to spend all of those resources and do as much damage at once as possible. Because it's the difference between winning the game or having to win another interaction and potentially lose the game because you didn't kill them. And that's it. We have now learned a bread and butter, a shimmy combo, a drive reversal punish, a DP punish, a drive rush combo, a jump in combo, a counter DI combo, a DI wall splat combo, a DI burnout stun combo, and a couple of different ways to approach cashing out all of your resources to kill them when you are full screen and not at the wall like you are with the stun combo. I hope this was helpful. If you found it helpful, drop a like, a comment, a sub, share it with a friend. I really love this character. I really love teaching this character. I really love helping other people who might think they can't learn fighting games discover that it's not as complicated as they think it is. So I definitely want to hear from you if you appreciated this video. I appreciate you. When in doubt, Gladius, and have a great rest of your week.
Where are you going? Before hitting like and subscribe,